Welcome to Secrets from the Saddle podcast. I'm Sylvie, your host, fellow cyclist, bike club founder, cycling coach, bike race junkie, just truly super passionate about cycling. My journey with cycling started 20 years ago when I opened a spin studio, started a women's race team, and founded a women's only cycling club called Cycle Fit Chicks. I'm super thrilled to reveal all aspects that make the world of cycling operate. I'm so excited to be able to bring you interesting people from around the world, pro cyclists, recreational cyclists, coaches, event organizers, bike shop owners, everything and everyone you need to know or ever wondered about when it comes to cycling. I know you'll enjoy this episode.
Need help creating the online business you've been dreaming about? Well, it's a good thing you're here because that's exactly what we're going to help you with. Hi, I'm Sarah Jansel, a friend and colleague of Sylvie's. I have over 20 years helping build and grow businesses, and today I help people do that on Shopify. If you want to build an online store, redesign one you have, set up email marketing, or just need some coaching or custom work, we can help you with that. Our goal is to help you sell more of the amazing products and services that you want to share with the world. I believe the world would be a better place if more people could build awesome businesses they love. So to help you get started with yours, today you're going to save $150 off a new store or a redesigned store. It's available for a limited time only, and all you have to do to take advantage of this is pop over to www.janselandco.com/services. That's JANSELAND.co/services. And let us know you heard this amazing podcast to get your quote and $150 off today.
All right, friends, Sylvie, your host of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast. And today, as promised from last week, we're going to talk about event organizing. Now, like I said, I am not a professional by any means, but I have organized a cycling event hosted by my cycling club, Cycle Fit Chicks, for the last 6 years. And one of which was COVID, and that didn't count because it never happened. But this year, I decided that I didn't want to do a time trial. I was overwhelmed with passion for what I saw in the gravel events that were just not the same as the road events. And I'm sure if there's anyone out there who has made the transition from road to gravel, you know exactly, and you've participated in a gravel event over a road event. If you've done both, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The community, the festive vibe. It is just overwhelmingly cool and a place that you want to spend lots of time with. Where, road cycling, I spent 8 years road cycling, racing, crits, time trials, stage events. And there was really never, ever that festive vibe that I experienced in one gravel event, right? I've been to, say, Charlevoix stage race. That's a 3-day stage race, 4 events. And there was never anything after. There wasn't anything in the evenings for people, and it was just, you just went, you did your job, and you came home. And you hung out with some teammates if you're lucky, and that's that. Same with the Coupe des Amériques that I used to do. It's a master's stage race in Sutton. God, the hills there. Oh my God. But anyways, did it for many years with our team, and it was just never that festive vibe, except for we had a supper at the end, and that was it. They gave out prizes and podiums, and that was cool. But I go to one gravel event and in Michigan at Barrie-Roubaix, and I was just blown away by the setup, by the whole vibe and the feel and the community in the village that it resided in, and meeting Matt Acker. And unfortunately, I didn't make it down to Coast to Coast to meet Mark. Next year, hopefully, I went and I did, I did a charity event, Ride to Conquer Cancer, and that was super amazing, like super motivated to participate in that event next year with a huge group of women. So if you're a woman and you want to participate, you have to reach out to me on social. I've had a couple people reach out already who want to be on the team, the group team for that event. And it's super amazing. So we're going to set up training. We're going to get really specific and dialed into, performing and having a good event. So through these experiences, I came to my club and I said, you know what? I just don't want to do a time trial. I'm just not motivated. I really don't care to do it. It doesn't, excite me. And I want to move into this gravel thing. And a lot of people are into gravel around here. So we made the switch like very last minute. We pulled out our participation with the Quebec Federation. And we said, sorry, we're just going to go on our own and we're going to do our own event. So which meant that I'd save money on race officials, their extra insurance. At first we made 100% that ours insurance would cover before we even made the transition. And it did. We had to pay a little bit extra, but it worked. And we were able to get the insurance for it, which is cool. So that means we can do it again. And then, just the extra fees. And the thing is that we have to pick a weekend that's good for them. So if there's Quebec provincials or something, we can't hold it. They get priority on dates. And so there's just a lot of things that I think about that, are kind of deterrents at the end of the day. And plus we had to wait for their calendar to be launched in February, whereas, we can choose the date right now, as of today, launch it, put it up on a website, and create excitement right now, today, for next year. And that's something, if you want to provide and make a good, exciting event, you need that leeway for letting people know and saving that date and pre-registration, like money coming in all the time. That makes a huge difference. So anyways, it was it was a good learning experience this year. And through it, I just super motivated to build and create a festive vibe around Wakefield and our gravel event. But there's also people who would really like the time trial. Like, it's truly two different sets of cyclists when you think about it. At the end of the day, like, gravel is like gravel mountain bikers, and some road cyclists have made the transition to gravel. And then time trialing is like hardcore time trialists, roadies, maybe you get some triathletes thrown in there. Different vibe from the different groups, right? Totally different. But how can we mesh them together? I don't know. We're going to figure it out, though, because there's another club who's interested in running that, and I've got the experience and the setup and the connections. So let's get into event organizing. Now, I put down 5 different things to look into, and what you need to do on your checklist, like basics. So the first thing, and remember, this is like 5 years ago when we did our first time trial event. So it was one of the things that I want to add to the cycling club to give back to the sport of cycling. Now, granted, there was like maybe 5 women in our club in the last 5 years who ever participated. So it's not something that, our club members are into. And I thought, maybe gravel would be it, right? Make it a club event as well, We had a couple more people participate in the gravel. A couple didn't show up, but way more than our time trial. So that's kind of interesting. All right, so let's go back to the year that we decided that we were going to do the time trial. So the first thing you need is access to roads, and you need permission from the municipality the roads are in. So if you can do an event that has less, like if you can keep all the roads in the race in one municipal district, you're doing yourself a world of good, because having to have multiple municipalities on board, it can get challenging. So it's wise to try and keep it in one region, one area. So that was the first thing we had to do, is contact our municipality, which I live in one, so that made it a bit easier because I'm a resident. And so what I had to do is they had an application form that you have to fill out, and that goes to their committee, and that gets approval, and that can take a long time. So this is not things that you want to leave to the very end or very last minute. Then I had to go and do a presentation to the police and the firefighters, like the fire department, because of course we were going to be closing one small section of the road where the start finishes for a time trial, right? Because you need that kind of cleared, and because it's a race to the finish. It's even like when you have a peloton finishing. I mean, it never really works as a peloton finishing in races, but you need someplace that's safe. And so they need to know what our strategy was for residents to get out of their location, and also the fire truck to get in. So you have to think about that. You can't just say, hey, I want an event here and we're going to do this and that. You have to have that plan. So present the plan. You have to get the police and the fire station or the fire department on board. And that is an ongoing every year thing. You just say, hey, remember that event? It's coming around on this date. This is what we're doing and to expect. And, just let your police officers know, or, be on a call if something happens. Same with the hospitals. You do that courtesy email. I have no idea. I haven't done that because it's like literally, who would I be sending it to? But municipality is a huge bonus. And my municipality is they're really good. And they also asked, I asked for help with equipment like barricades and pylons, and we need a detour sign and things like that. So you also have to put in a request for that. And they'll lend you what they have. So if they have like 3 other municipal events going on and everything's allocated, you might be out of luck. So you have to expect that too. You're not the only person in the municipality that's doing events, especially if they're doing their own. The next one is insurance. And I spoke about that before. This is like primary, like you need to have insurance in place before you can do anything, and you have to have enough insurance, because when you apply to the municipality, they will say you need X number, like $5 million in insurance for your event. And if you have insurance with like some company and it only gives you 2 million, you need to figure out how you can get it topped up to 5 million. So whether you need to pay an extra $200 or whatnot, you have to make sure that is done, because you cannot get approval without that sheet. So insurance is super, like, probably, it's number 2 after you go and you reach out to the municipality, or you make that first before you even reach out, because they will ask for it. And then the route. Number 3 is the route, making sure it's safe. And, you don't have to make it not challenging to challenging, but because our time trial event is probably one of the hilliest time trial events you'll find in the region, just because of where I picked it and the specific road. Runs right by my place, and it's now quiet because there's a highway that's built, and it used to be real nice pavement, but it's starting to get all broken up. Like, it's starting to get in bad repair, which is kind of strange because there's hardly any traffic on it. So your route And also, with that is making sure that it's safe, like where your start and finish is. It's safe for the racers. It's safe for the residents, like, and for the vehicles that are going to be driving down there at that time. So, that needs to be taken into consideration. Sometimes you can't do a start and finish at the same place. I was able to do for the gravel event. And make sure you run it by somebody else, because what you think might be safe and logical might not be, and that person can pick it out. And that's kind of where race officials come in, because they kind of have the last say, I guess, on your event and your safety features and other aspects of the event. Yeah, and somewhere where it makes sense, there's parking. You need like a place for check-in, setup and warm up. So, not somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but, close to a village where the village can actually benefit from the event coming through. And that's another thing, is collaborating with the event, with the village that you live in, or where you might be, you're going to put it on. Yeah, so like I use Wakefield, and they're all about, bringing more tourists to the village that stay and spend money. So if your event can benefit that way, it's always easier to convince and get them on board. All right, number 4, talk about community. So, partnering with that community, making it work for both of you. I've seen some great events that I've attended, and it's always been community was involved. Like Barrie-Roubaix was a huge one. And so what they do is they partner with a lot of the groups that are in the village, like the seniors and some youth group, and they actually then donate some of the race funds to these groups for their volunteerism. So it's not that you're asking them to volunteer for free, but you're saying, hey, I will donate X number of dollars to your organization or your community group for bringing out volunteers. So it is a really good win-win. And I was like Matt was talking about that, and I think, that was it's a great idea, because then you get everybody on board, and it just makes it that much easier and better. Now, number 5, volunteerism, and that kind of tags on what I was just talking about. Your event isn't going to go anywhere without volunteers. You cannot do it by yourself. This is something that I personally am kind of used to just doing my own thing, but you really need a team to make an event successful, period. So I was just saying before, in the community part, that's where you find your volunteers. You partner with a community group and have them do specific tasks. Like Matt had the seniors group, I guess it was seniors group, in town. All of the ladies were facilitating and taking care of the registration or the race pickup. So because there's like literally 5,000 people at this event, they had this whole auditorium, kind of, I would say lecture hall. It's a lecture hall. And you just walked in, you find your number, you go to your table, and then there's like different steps, and then you go out and you can buy swag or pick up the swag that you purchased. So it had a really good flow to it, and that's it. Another thing, flow, gotta flow. So those are the top 5 things that I was thinking about, and maybe I'll add a number 6. 6 is bonus. The party, or the post party. What's that look like? Do you have one? Do you need one? Can you pull one off? Are you going to offer overnight camping? What's the deal? How are you going to keep people around? because it's always nice to keep a vibe going. And if you can, like Reggie Ramble had like a 2-day event. And honestly, a lot of the girls that I participated with, they signed up for the 2nd day event, but never went. So, I mean, kind of like bonus money in their pocket, less people, but they offered a secondary ride for people who stuck around. So I drove 3 hours. I wasn't going to ride again. I just drove home. But it was a great idea to keep everybody there and keep things flowing for their sponsors, for the event, for the community, and just, riders. Like some people, maybe did a shorter race event, but want to do another ride the next day, and they had it. So, and plus, it was on the race course, and all the signs were still up. All right, maybe I'll add like a number 7 is tear down. Who's doing it? Now, if you're smart, well, the biggest tear down is, I would say, the course, getting the signs off the course. But and then your volunteers come and play with the rest of just cleaning up after the party. But I hope that helps. And if you're looking at organizing an event, please do reach out. I love talking about this. I'm reaching out to more organizers to find out what they're doing. Another one was Hurton and Halbert, in the 8 hours that I did. They had it at a what was it? It's like a national park. So it was like the entrance where they had some cabins, their camping area. They had like a little venue to eat. And so this year they're going to be making more of a village. So more like vendors, sponsors. They had like a transition area. So you have to decide like what kind of event you're going to run. Like 8 hours is a pretty cool concept because it's how many laps can you do of this 27K course in 8 hours. So it's done, starts at 10, finishes at 6. That's it. No more people on the course, and everybody hangs out, has something to eat. They're going to have a band. So then it becomes more of like, you want to stay. Why would you drive back? So that's another type of event. So I hope that helped. I enjoy organizing these, and that's why I'm kind of looking at something bigger. I'm like I said, reaching out to other event organizers and asking them what they do, how they market, get their like Reggie had a big marketing campaign, and they also had lots of like they had a big store they could purchase clothes and stuff. So that's huge too. You make money there. So you have to think about little things that you can add that make money. They also had vendor trucks there, so they gave out free tickets for one beer, one coffee, one meal. Oh, and you could win a bottle. So you got won a bottle. So that was kind of fun because you got little tickets. So you could take care of those. You could have a coffee the next day, a beer right after. So that was kind of a good. That was nice to have at the end. Lots of cool things. And I'm sure if you've participated in events, you've taken away your own things that you liked and you disliked. And put it to play. So anyways, reach out to me if you want to chat, or if you have some feedback or comments or ideas for me. Love to hear it. I want to invite you to, let's just talk quickly, very briefly, about fall and winter training. Now, I'm going to do an episode about this because it's July, and I know because I've been organizing winter training for the last 20 years, and this is about the right time where people, and I'm doing it myself already, I'm starting to think about, okay, my next year's goals and how am I going to get myself set up for those. And when's it going to start and where am I going to train and how am I going to train and who am I going to train with and all these questions. So I invite you to join my community. Go to the show notes. It's a Facebook community. It's for women. So it's women-based, 40 over, those who are, getting back into health and cycling and fitness and want some nutrition suggestions and advice. All these things and training options. Join us on Facebook. That's where I'm building a community, and I've got some really cool things I'm gonna announce in there for next year, and maybe you just participate with us. So it's about accountability and having people around you who are doing the same thing. So hopefully you join us and have a rockin' next year, right? This summer's the summer's almost over. We're going into August, which is like vacation season, and then September is nice and cool. Bang off a couple events, and then boom, back into training. So, anyways, reach out. Let's work together, and you have yourself an amazing day. And we'll see you on the next episode. Talk about winter training. Bye. Also, let's thank Sarah Jansel, the Shopify queen, for supporting the show. Remember to go visit janselandco.com/services to contact Sarah about getting $150 off having your own Shopify store created or having your current store revamped. Get your online store ready for this fall and Christmas season. Automate your business and free up time. Check out janselandco.com. Super excited? Please visit our new page at buymeacoffee.com/secret saddle pod. If you love what you're hearing, supporting the podcast with the purchase of a coffee would be greatly appreciated and helpful to keep the podcast going. Also, providing a separate rating and review and thoughts about the podcast are hugely helpful. Thank you very much and have an amazing day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on the Secrets from the Saddle podcast, learning more about sighting people, places, and things that make cycling such an exciting sport. I am so glad you stopped by today. Please leave me a review if you feel so moved to do so. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it, I would be forever grateful. Also, if you could please leave me a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving me an honest thought and an honest comment, telling me what you think, and most importantly, tell me what you'd like to hear more of. It would really help me to bring more great, inspiring cycling stories to you. Until then, have an amazing day. Make sure you ride your bike. And don't forget to visit my YouTube channel if you'd like to see the full version of this podcast live.